In this video, we will be talking about obligation, necessity, and willingness and relative clauses. Obligation and necessity. In order to express a necessity, the models must and have to can be used. Must only refers to the present and the future, while have to can refer to the past. I will have to, I must get a car as soon as possible or I will be always late. I must pass my test so I can go to the beach. Another way to refer to the necessity can be with have got plus to plus infinitive. My daughter said, I've got to come back the next week. Personal or general necessity, we usually use must when we decide what is necessary and have to when other people decide. I must get my hair cut. I have to prepare for the test. Should and ought to. Should is used when we want to express our subjective opinion, and ought to is used when we want to express an objective truth. They ought to follow the school's policy or they will get expelled. You should call your mother more often. Had better plus infinitive is to denotate an advice or traits. She will better see a doctor before it's too late. You will better be early tomorrow. Supposed plus to plus infinitive is to say what is necessary according to some rules or instructions. I was supposed to finish my homework last night, but I got distracted. My dog is supposed to bark when she needs something, but she never does it. It's up to plus person plus whether to say somebody is not obliged to do something in informal language. It's up to you whether it's healthy food, but if you don't, you might have problems when older. There are different ways to express it. Will or can plus infinitive. Jason will swim with his brother every Saturday. I can finish to clean the house if you give me 50 pesos. Be happy or willing to plus infinitive. I'm willing to help you for your math test. Be prepared plus to plus infinitive. Dario is prepared to ride a horse. Have no objection to plus verb plus ing. The team has no objection to meeting at 11 o'clock. Have nothing against plus verb plus ing. I have nothing against playing soccer while raining. Have no problem with verb plus ing. My brother has no problem watering the plants while I am traveling. Other phrases for obligation or no obligation. The phrase plus to plus infinitive. Need to, don't need to, needn't. You need to finish your homework. Have no choice but. I have no choice but to sell my video games. Be allowed. Students are not allowed to bring pets at school. Be expected. How can he be expected to pass the test without studying? Be free. Students are free to take any activity at school. Be required. I'm required to have a passport in order to enter to use it. Be under no obligation. I'm under no obligation to cut the grass.
We already know about obligations and willingness. Now it's time to talk about relative clauses. We use relative clauses to give extra information about the nouns in the main clause without starting another sentence. These ones are divided on two types, defining and not defining. Let's start with defining. Defining relative clauses give relevant information. Do not use commas to set off defining elements, and also that can be used for people, animals, or things. For example, saris which are made of silk are expensive. We know to which noun we are talking about. In this case, silk saris are expensive. Now, about not defining, these ones give us extra information. Who, which, when, where, and whose use commas to set off non-defining elements. And do not use that in non-defining relative clauses. For example, saris, which are made of silk, are expensive. If we take off which are made of silk, we just have saris are expensive. And also, we can infer that saris are just made of silk. As a tip, non-defining relative clauses use commas in written language and pauses in spoken language. Now it's time to talk about when, where, and why. Normally, these three are question words that can be used as relative pronouns, with nouns which refer to time, and after place or somewhere, we can use that instead of when or where. For example, I bought my backpack in the city where or that I live. Saturday in the morning was the day when or that everything went wrong. After reason, we can use that instead of why. For example, the reason why or that we are doing this is to learn, for which we can use it to refer to animals or things. We all get on well, which is fantastic. Also, to refers to a whole clause or sentence. People think I sit around drinking coffee all day, which, of course, I do. Also, we can use which after prepositions and before nouns in fixed phrases, like in which case, the chance of which, at which time, the result, outcome of which, the likelihood of which, etc. For example, the fall in which I traveled to US was fantastic. We usually use who as subject and object in relative clauses, but we can use whom in formal written language. For example, a man whom was arrested on suspicion of raping. Also, we use whom, not who, after prepositions. For example, everyone is asking for whom we both. We use whose as a possessive of people and animals. My friend is with that beautiful girl whose name I want to know. We can use quantifiers like some, none, and few with of whom, of which, and of whose in undefining relative clauses. For example, my girlfriend has very nice cousins, all of whom play soccer. The criminal was found guilty of murder, none of which he admits to. We use indefinite pronouns whoever, whatever, wherever, whenever to mean the person who, the thing that, the place that, the time that. For example, whatever you do, take in mind the consequences. Whenever that witness gave testimony against him, he was held in custody for days. Wherever you are, remember your origins. Whoever did that cake, it was delicious. And just to finish, we usually put prepositions at the end of relative clauses, but we can put them before the relative pronoun in formal language. For example, prison is not the kind of place that you would want to spend time in. Prison is not the kind of place in which you would want to spend time. Also, we keep the particles with the verb with multi-word verbs. For example, stealing from the kitchen is something which we will not put up with.
Vocabulary. Custody. Child custody cases are always difficult. Obligation. Any allegation of abuse is taken particularly seriously. Suspicion. We are holding Neil on suspicion of killing the judge. Arrested. Suspect arrested in downtown. Evidence in court. Children are allowed to give evidence in court in civil and criminal cases. Being convicted. The accused has been convicted 43 times. Gave testimony. I'm due to give testimony on this exact matter. Plead guilty. I'll plead guilty to second-degree robbery. Judge. Sometimes a judge can order share a physical custody. Jury. Judges send cases to jury for deliberation.
The security guard had a friend who was a policeman. They have an added incentive to hold a police capture a violent criminal. Nothing carries as much weight with a jury as the testimony of an actual witness, only to discover that they have already been the victim of a data breach. The job for a criminal defense lawyer is to select the best criminal defense attorney tactics after reviewing a case, facts, and circumstances.
There has been an increase in prosecutions for gun-related crimes. He had to do community service. He was banned from driving. The company was fined a six-figure sum. They suggested he be brought face-to-face with his victim. All prisoners receive either one-to-one or group counseling. An annual model is used for both of these sectors.